I am Shannon Ainslie and I am a full-time surf coach. I've been a surf coach for the last 20 years.
And tell me how you got into surfing. Like, when did it become a passion of yours?
I started surfing when I was 13 and it was thanks to my dad who, as a single parent at the time, dropped myself and my brother off at the beach every day during the Easter vacations with a surfboard to share, a loaf of bread and a bag of bananas. So we got dropped off at the beach and surfed every day. And I think on the second day, both my brother and myself got hooked and totally addicted to surfing. And ever since then, I wanted to be a surfer, and here I am, a surfer.
So, what was the area like where you grew up and like where you kind of used to surf?
The area I grew up in is on the east coast of South Africa, a city called East London in South Africa. And it's a really beautiful, like subtropical area with a good climate, warm-ish water, a city of maybe like 1 million people, beautiful coastline and beaches and reef breaks. And yeah, so it's a really cool area to live and grow up in because everyone's like very sporty and active and spending time outside. And it's a good place to grow up in, especially if you're a surfer, because the waves and the beaches are just amazing and spectacular.
And tell me about the marine life around there. What kind of marine life have you got?
South Africa's got amazing marine life, and I think it's very similar all over the coast. But in our area, specifically in East London, we have a lot of fish, of course, and we have a lot of dolphins. There are times in certain places you can see dolphins every single day. And I've swam and surfed with schools of dolphins, up to like 100 dolphins, and like swam down to the bottom with small baby ones swimming past me, big ones swimming over me. I've even had dolphins like almost land on me when they jump out the water and try to land again. And I've had to like dodge them so they don't land on me. I've also had friends who've had dolphins ride into them and break their surfboards, break their ribs accidentally. But then we have a lot of sharks as well, different kinds of sharks. We have whales and we have a couple of seals, not too many, but we do have a couple of those too.
So, what are the main kind of sharks that you have in the area, and does it change depending on kind of what season it is?
There, well, the place that I was attacked at, Nahoon Reef, has a breeding ground for ragged teeth shark. So there are a lot of those kind of sharks in the area. They look aggressive, but they're kind of docile and tame. Although some people have been attacked by them when they feel threatened. Like I've got friends who've accidentally landed on a shark after their wave on one of these ragged teeth shark, and the shark freaks out, gets scared, bites their foot and pulls them under and then lets go. So nothing fatal with those sharks, but then occasionally we get some bull sharks as well, also known as Zambezi sharks. People have been attacked by those sharks in the rivers in this area as well. And then on top of that, during the sardine season, which is between June, July and August, we have a lot more great white sharks because they swim up the coast following the sardine run and other fish, and that's usually when we get the most fatal shark attacks in South Africa.
So, when you were surfing, when you were younger, what were your thoughts and feelings about being in the water with these kind of big predators? I mean, to be honest, South Africa, you've got like the biggest predators like on land and in the sea, haven't you? So you've kind of got it all. But what was it like, and what was your kind of attitude towards it, you know, when you were younger?
Yeah, you're right. South Africa's got a lot of different predators in the water and on the land. And growing up surfing in East London was kind of scary at first to just know that there are always sharks in the area. But we would always surf the areas where there weren't too many shark attacks or shark sightings in the past. But then as I got better in surfing, I wanted to surf the reef breaks and the point breaks. And those are the places where you see more shark activity, especially the great white sharks in the winter months. And I was very scared to surf those places. So when I first started surfing, I played it safe and surfed the boring places that were safer. And then as I got better at surfing, I wanted to surf the bigger, more scary waves, which were also scary because they had sharks and shark attacks in the past. So, but yeah, my dad taught us to face our fears and to not live life in fear, but just to go for it. So we had kind of a go for it attitude, myself and my brother, and we would just surf regardless and face those fears.
Were you kind of brought up being told kind of what to do if you ever had like a shark encounter?
We were never told what to do if we had a shark encounter. There wasn't, there weren't too many people who had great advice. There were just stories of people getting bitten or getting killed. Only afterwards, like people started like doing some studies and research on what to do when you do get into that kind of situation and encounter a shark. But before my attack, no, we had no idea what to do. Like there were no shark first aid kit boxes at the beaches. Now there are. And yeah, so no, we were very unprepared for that kind of stuff.
And so before you had your experience, did you know anyone that had kind of a lot of shark encounters or had been bitten or anything like that?
Yes, there's this one guy I knew who is from the same area who was attacked by a 5-meter great white shark. His story is horrific, and this is the story that scares everyone. He was surfing Nahoon Reef with some friends, or maybe just like a bunch of people, but him and his friends surfed together, and he was busy paddling back after a wave, and he saw his friend get attacked by this big 5-meter great white shark. So he decided to paddle towards him to help him out, and he was screaming and shouting and trying to help his friend, and then the shark turned on him and attacked him, and his friend died and he survived. So yeah, that was quite a horrific story. I mean, his bite was very, very bad. He almost died, but he was a lifeguard at the time, so he knew kind of what to do. So when they both got to the beach after the attack, the guy who was first attacked was panicking and freaking out and stressing and moving too much, so he lost blood very quickly, whereas the other guy relaxed and calmed down, and everyone who was around him was trying to help out, but he was guiding them, saying, okay guys, do this, do that. So he was helping them a lot, and because of that he survived and his friend never.
Wow, pretty brave to still get in the water then. I don't think I would have gone anywhere near there. But I suppose it's still like shark attacks are, they're common, but they're not that common. You still got more chance of probably being in a car accident or, than you have being bitten by a shark, haven't you? So yeah, I suppose you've got to live life, haven't you, and do what you love doing.
Exactly.
So tell me about the day of your incident. Just tell me how old you were. Just tell me what the plans were for the day. Just talk me through the story.
And the attack.
Cool.
So yeah, it was the first day back at school after a 3-week winter vacation, and that winter vacation was amazing because we had really good waves every single day, and myself and my friends, my brother and his friends, surfed ourselves until we were dead every day. Like there were times we surfed 12 hours a day because the waves were so good. But during those 3 weeks, we also saw some sharks, and certain parts of the area had closed their beaches due to shark sightings. So we knew that there were very good waves, but very big sharks swimming around too, great white sharks. And yeah, so this was the first day back at school. We were supposed to have school team surf training after school at a different beach. But then just before the end of school, the announcements came on and they canceled the surf training. So we ended up going to Nahoon Reef, which wasn't the original plan. And so we were very happy. We were like, yes, because we really wanted to surf Nahoon Reef. We knew it was good that day. So we get to the beach, myself, my brother, his friend, my friend. It's like maybe 16, 17 degrees in the air, 16 or 17 degrees in the water, not much wind, blue skies, a beautiful day to surf. And yeah, we surfed for about an hour and a half into the surf. And around that time, my brother and some of his friends and some other guys got out the water, and I never knew why. And usually when you see a lot more shark activities like fish jumping and birds diving in the water, people kind of get scared and they get out the water, because that's a sign that there's like a small feeding frenzy in the water and maybe some big sharks in the area. So they got out, I stayed because I was having too much fun. And also on top of that, someone saw a shark or two, but didn't want to tell anyone because he had just smoked something and thought maybe he was hallucinating. So he just got out the water to clear his conscience and left everyone in the water to surf. And yeah, so I was 15 years old at the time. Here I am wanting to surf. This beautiful wave comes towards me. I'm like, yes, here's my wave. I turn around, start paddling hard. My mind, my eyes, everything's focused on the wave. And just before I'm about to stand up, all of a sudden, bam, I got hit by a shark on my left. This big 4-meter great white shark swam with a lot of speed from underneath, bumped me into the sky, flipped me around, grabbed my surfboard in my hand and dragged me underwater with it. And while that was happening, there was another shark on my right, and that one missed me because the shark on my left got me first. And it was crazy because it happened so quickly and so unexpectedly that I had absolutely no idea what was going on. Everything slowed down and I thought I was dreaming. Like everything was like a dream to me. And even when the shark bit me, I felt no pain at all. I felt no fear. It was the most weird feeling ever. And then the shark and I were underneath the water. It let go of me and it just stopped and stared at me face to face, like this close, right here in front of my face. And it just stared at me with this one big dark eye. And we had this beautiful moment, the shark and myself, eye to eye, staring at each other. And I could see all of its teeth, and its mouth was open so I could see inside of its mouth. And again, like I had no idea what was going on. And I think the shark was very confused as well, because if you look at my surfboard, you can see that the shark bit over the fin of the surfboard, so it wasn't able to close its mouth, and maybe the fin hit its palate and hurt the shark. So I was confused, but I think the shark was just as confused as me. And then the shark swam away, swam around me and kind of like brushed me from behind along my back. That caused me to swim to the surface of the water. When I got to the surface, my surfboard was lying in front of me. All the other surfers were paddling frantically to try catch the last 1 or 2 waves and save themselves to get to the beach. And I was so confused. I'm like, wow, what's going on? So I get onto my surfboard. By this time, everyone's already heading towards the beach. I pull my right hand over and across to start paddling and see my fingers hanging off. And I'm like, oh, that wasn't a dream, that was real. And that's when I started panicking. I saw my pinky finger hanging off, my ring finger on my right hand hanging off, a bite in my hand and my wrist, and blood rushing out. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I just got attacked by a shark. And I was panicking, I was freaking out and crying. And my worst nightmare became my reality. This was the thing I dreaded every single day. I was like, I do not want to get attacked by a shark. And here I am in the situation. So here I am like 100 meters offshore out at sea by myself, and there were no waves to catch. The ocean went dead flat. So here I am like paddling towards the beach, trying to find a wave to escape from these sharks. Every time I took a stroke, my fingers are about to come off, and I felt the water rushing through my fingers. It was a weird feeling. And I'm looking over my shoulders all the time, and underneath me, in front of me, behind me, waiting for the sharks to come back, and thinking about all the stories I've heard of sharks always going back for a second time to finish their prey. And I'm like, this is the worst thing ever. I'm gonna die today. And I was crying and panicking and stressing and so afraid, and like praying to Jesus to keep me safe and to help me. And I was like, please God, get me to the beach safely. And all these emotions and thoughts, it was bad. Like I thought I was gonna die. I thought that was it. Fortunately, a wave came out of nowhere. I caught this wave, paddled super hard, caught the wave. While I'm on my belly, I'm like zigzagging along the wave, just in case the shark's following me behind the wave and is gonna grab me. So I'm trying to zigzag along the wave to make it difficult for the shark to get me. And then I get right to the shoreline, to the rocks, and I managed to like stand, and I'm like, oh, I survived. And that's when I was a lot more relieved and super happy to be alive. and a little bit upset that I was gonna maybe lose my fingers or my hand. But again, yeah, very happy to be alive. And then my brother rushed me to hospital. He was 17 at the time and never had a driver's license, but he had my grand's car with him, and so he was driving super fast like a maniac with his hazard lights on, blinking his lights, going through all the red lights, rushing me to the hospital. And we get to the hospital and we run in there, and my brother and his friend who was with us in the car screaming, we need help, someone's been attacked by a shark. And I mean, I wasn't gonna die, but still, it was pretty intense. And then the nurses came and had a look at my hand and said, okay, you'll be okay, you won't lose the fingers, just wait here. And then 5 hours later, I got my operation and the doctor sewed my fingers back on, and that was it. I survived a shark attack. Yeah, Nahoon Reef is in an area or suburb called Nahoon, and there's a beautiful beach next to like a river mouth, and as you follow the beach, let's say along the south side, you get to what we call the corner, where there's like this little rocky point break, and then it extends to the reef. So it's basically this long point or headland, and the reef is like a really deep water surf spot, and that's where all the sharks are. And that area is like a mini reserve and also a golf course. So basically you got the beach that goes into the reef, and then the reef goes into a small nature reserve, which then goes into a small golf course, which then goes into Nahoon, the area or the suburb everyone lives in. So it's a really cool, nice, beautiful area.
Right. And so just when you went out surfing, had you hadn't gone out alone? You said you'd gone with your brother, but who was in the water with you at the time when you were like just before the attack? Were you surfing with anyone else?
There were maybe around 15 other surfers in the water. My brother was one of them and one of his best friends. I was there with one of my best friends, and then I also knew at least 3 or 4 other people in the water, some local surfers in the area. And then there were some foreigners. There were 2 Australians and then maybe 1 or 2 other guys in the water. So a nice mix of people surfing.
Right. So let's start with, so I'm just going to get you to break down the attack for me again. So the first shark is the one that kind of, it flipped you up, didn't it? And then it kind of grabbed you. Is that what it did? And then it pulled you under. And then when did you kind of notice that there was another one? And like, what did it do? Did they both go for you at the same time?
So yes, the shark on my left was the one that hit me super hard into the sky and kind of flipped me around like this and bit my right hand on, which is here, but it bit me on this side because it flipped me around. And you know, at the time, I never knew that there was a second shark. I only knew that there was a second shark when I saw the video. So I never saw the shark coming for me. And maybe, I mean, there are different theories. Like when I was underneath the water, I saw the one shark face to face. When it swam away, I felt a bump from behind. So I'm not too sure if that's the same shark or if it was a different shark. So I saw the one shark here. When it swam away, I felt a bump. So it could have been the second one. But yeah, I only noticed afterwards when I saw the video the day after that there were 2 sharks.
So when you were swimming back, could you see anyone else in the water? Was there anyone trying to get to you or help you, or could you see your brother, or was it just a case of you were just so focused on getting yourself back to shore? Like, what can you remember? Any of that?
Yeah, so after the sharks attacked me, when I'm on my surfboard paddling back to the beach, I wanted some people to stay to help me up, but I didn't see or notice anyone. Maybe there were people in the water. Maybe I was just so filled with adrenaline. I was looking around for a way to catch a wave and escape straight away. My brother and a few other people were already on the beach because they got out the water before my attack. They, like the one guy thought he saw a shark, so he left. Other guys saw some birds dive in and some fishy activity. So they got out the water as well, like at least 10 to 15 minutes before the attack. So a few people were already on the beach and there were just a few surfers left in the water surfing. And those people who were in the water caught the last 1 or 2 waves from what I saw and noticed. And then it seemed like I was alone by myself and no one to help me. And so yeah, it was a very lonely experience being by myself in the water.
And so when you got back to the shore, did anyone say to you, oh my God, like, we thought something had happened to you? Like, didn't your brother see the whole thing or a friend see the whole thing?
Yes. So some people did see a shark attack, but they weren't sure what it was because even the cameraman, he was filming and playing around with the camera and he was like filming upside down and then he turned the camera around. And when he recorded the incident and saw the shark attack me, he thought he saw 2 surfers fighting. So he just carried on doing his thing. And then some other people saw the same thing, but they weren't too sure what it was until everyone started coming into the beach. And that's when people panicked and they said, hey, someone's been attacked by a shark attack. And my brother at the time wasn't sure who it was. No one knew who had been attacked by the shark. So he said that he was so worried and scared that it was me who got attacked, which it was. But no one knew how severe the attack was either. So everyone kind of expected the worst. So when I came to there's like a slipway there, like a little concrete slipway you can walk on to enter and exit the water. And there are rocks and reef and sea urchins on either side. So you always want to use this slipway. So as I got to that area, like all the surfers are on the slipway waiting for me. I get there and the guy who had seen the sharks, he thought he had seen a shark, but he thought maybe he was hallucinating. He was the first surfer to me. Maybe he felt bad because of the whole thing and never warned me. So he came to my rescue and to my aid and tied a leg rope or leash around my right arm. Another guy put and wrapped a towel around my hand to help stop the bleeding. And my brother wasn't there. I never noticed him. I think he was on the phoning the ambulance. And then other guys were like, hey, Shannon, are you okay? And of course I was panicked, but I was okay. It was just my hand. So it wasn't a life-threatening situation, fortunately. And so yeah, everyone just like around me asking me if I'm okay and people talking to each other. Oh, did you see how big that thing was? That was massive. And so people also saw the shark afterwards, like kind of swimming away or swimming around. So yeah.
So when did you... So first of all, this beach, just to let everyone know, is completely unmanned. There's no lifeguard or anything there, right?
Correct. So the beach break, the sand beach break, has a lifeguard tower and lifeguards there permanently. It's a very popular beach, but the reef where we surfed and where I got attacked at is maybe 1.5 kilometers or 2 kilometers if you draw a straight line away from that. And to get there isn't so easy because you have to like go over like a small cliff, or you have to go around the points like between water and rocks and deep water channels and all that kind of stuff. So it'll take some time. To drive around will take 15 minutes. So the fastest way would be by jet ski or boat. So yeah, it's totally unmanned.
And so how far out from the shore were you when the attack happened?
I was about 100 meters away from the beach or the land from the area I was attacked at. Let me say that again. I was 100 meters away from the beach when I got attacked by the sharks.
And roughly how deep, like, is the water there?
I think like where the waves break and where you surf, it's between 2 to 4 meters deep. But of course, the bigger it gets, the further out it breaks and it stretches into even deeper water. So then it could be between 4 to 6 meters. And the reef where the ragged teeth shark are, there's like a drop off where there's like a very deep water section that could be like 30, 40 meters deep. But where you surf, it's like between, let's say, 2 to 6 meters deep.
And so how long, roughly, do you think the attack actually lasted? I mean, it was only like a couple of minutes. Was it about a minute? Was it even that long?
Yeah, the actual attack is just like 2 or 3 seconds, happens so fast. And by the time that happened to the time well, from the time of the attack to when I got to the beach, that could have been 2 or 3 minutes. However, it felt so long. It felt like the actual attack felt like slow motion. So that seemed like it could have been 5 to 10 seconds or more. And then when I was left alone in the water trying to find a wave, that felt a couple of minutes, because I was so scared and everything just slowed down. I wanted things to hurry up and I wanted a wave to come, but it never came as quickly as I wanted it to come. And then while I'm on the wave, like zigzagging along the wave, that just seemed like forever, because I'm just thinking the whole time, okay, the shark's following me, the shark's following me. So the whole time, like, I'm stressing out and freaking out, and everything seemed to just slow down. So for me, it seemed like a long time, but it probably took 2 to 3 minutes from the attack to when I got to the beach.
And so when you got to the beach, you said, so someone kind of did like a tourniquet, did they, basically, on your arm? That's what they did. Was that to try and stop the bleeding?
Yes, so one person tied a leash or a leg rope. So a leash or a leg rope is the rope that you attach the surfboard to from your ankle to the board. And someone took that off the board and tied it around my arm to help stop the bleeding. And one other guy grabbed a towel and wrapped a towel around my hand to also help stop the bleeding.
So basically you surfed back on your board that you'd been on. So when you were on the board, did you notice the bite mark?
I never noticed the bite mark on my surfboard, because when I reached the surface again after the attack, my surfboard was lying in front of me the correct way. So because the bite's on the bottom of the surfboard, and I never saw that. So just saw my surfboard there, jumped on and paddled in. And I don't even know when I noticed the board was bit. I think only the next day.
And so when did you realise that someone, because the piece of footage that I've seen, they can see you coming out of the water. So when did you realise somebody was filming you, or were you just kind of like somewhere else in your head?
I had no idea someone was filming. And when I did get to the beach, this guy, I never knew that it was the same guy at the time, but he had a camera, like a photo camera, and he was taking photos of everything as well. And I don't think he realized he got attacked. Sorry, I don't think he realized he got the attack on camera either until like later on. So he went home, watched the video, and he realized that what he thought he saw was a fight was actually the shark attack. So yeah, that's when he started sharing the news. And then I found out the next day after the operation in hospital that it was caught on camera. So I had no idea that everything was recorded.
So how did you find out that it was caught on camera? Because like, had he exchanged numbers or something with someone, or did somebody find out? How did you find out?
He was staying at a surfers backpackers, and he obviously told some of the surfers staying there and the owners, and they knew us and must have contacted my brother or my dad. And then the next morning in hospital, my dad came to me and said, hey, by the way, apparently the shark attack is caught on camera, so we can go check it out later. That's what he said. He actually said to me, Shannon, maybe you shouldn't look at it. It might be a bit traumatizing. And I'm like, no, I want to see it. I thought it was kind of cool.
So how many like stitches and stuff did you have like in your hand?
So I ended up with 30 stitches in my hand. The surgeon sewed my pinky and my ring finger back onto my hand, and there was a bite in my hand which he sewed up, and then my wrist bone he fixed as well. That was completely bitten through from one side to the other. So my hand was also in a cast for up to 6 weeks.
And so how long, I mean, obviously you said you kind of only really realised that you'd been attacked by the shark when you realised that your fingers were hanging off. But when did you really start to process like what had happened? Because I'm sure it takes a while for like the adrenaline to calm down, and like when did it really sink in?
I'd say everything sunk in the morning after the operation. I remembered at around 4 o'clock in the morning, waking up after the operation and lying on my back, my arm in a cast, but also in a sling, just up like this in a fixed position. TV was on for some reason. I don't know who put it on, but it was on. And there's a guy on BBC World News speaking about my shark attack. And I'm like, what? Someone's speaking about my shark attack. That was so crazy. And then I just lay there thinking about the whole incident. And that's when I started getting like flashbacks and remembering what happened. And I remembered seeing the shark face to face. And I remembered how everything seemed like a dream and how everything seemed like it was in slow motion, and all the fears and the emotions I felt when I was in the water, and then how relieved and happy I was to make it back to the beach. And then I was just thinking of like how lucky and blessed and fortunate I was to be alive. Like I should be dead. And at that stage, I actually used to, as a kid, struggle a lot with anger and depression, and there was even a time as a young kid I wanted to take my own life, and I used to just be a bad, unpleasant, angry kid, and I used to fight every single day. We also grew up in like post-apartheid South Africa, so a lot of families struggled, and we struggled a bit with that. And so yeah, I was thinking about those things too, and thinking about, you know, like I've been given a second chance, I need to make the most of it. And I was so thankful to God for my life, and I was like, please God, help me with all my other things, like my stress, my anger, my depression, and all those kind of things. So that's when I really started reflecting on the whole incident and also my life, because I should have been dead, or at least I should have lost an arm or leg. And you know, when you have a near-death experience like that, it's not just the incident you think about. You think of your life, you think about death, you think about second chances and purpose to life. And that's when I was just lying in hospital for quite a while, thinking about all these things, like proper deep thoughts and deep feelings. And it was a really good time of reflection, because that was a big major turning point in my life where I was like, okay, cool, I've been given a second chance, let's make the most of life. Let's be more thankful, more grateful, not take things for granted. Let's live a purpose-driven life. And that's also when I got even more passionate about surfing, because I wanted to use surfing as a tool to try make a difference as well, especially in South Africa, because you have so many people who need help. And that's how I ended up becoming a surf coach, actually, because of my shark attack.
Oh, that's great. And so when did you actually watch the video back, and talk me through how it made you feel kind of watching that?
Yeah, so just before I was released from hospital the next morning, there was a lot of attention and media and news reporters come in to interview me and take photos and ask questions, because it's not every day someone gets attacked by a shark, and not every day someone gets attacked by a shark and it's caught on camera. So it made like the headlines, and everyone was talking about it, and everyone wanted a piece of the story. And my dad was a bit stressed, so he like chased a lot of people out in a way, and he said, cool, just one or two people can come do a short interview, take a quick photo or two while I'm in hospital. And then he's like, okay, Shannon, once they're done, we're going to leave, and we're going to go to the backpackers where these guys are who have the video camera and recorded your video. And if you want, we can look at that. So I'm like, okay. So we went there, and the cool thing is my dad was there, my brother was there, my friend, and quite a few people. So everyone just made an effort to meet up there at the same time. So the people who were at Nahoon Reef on the day of the attack, so everyone was there. And so someone put it on this like big TV. No one had flat screen TVs back then, but it was still kind of a big TV. They plugged it in, pressed play, and there it was. It was so cool. And like we just like rewinded, played again, rewinded, played it back again. And still, like on that day, we never knew that there were two sharks. We just saw the one shark until later on, I think later on that day or the next morning, someone like zoomed in and studied and checked it out and noticed the second shark, because it's an old video camera, so you can't see everything very clearly. But when you look closely, you can see the second shark in the wave. So yeah.
And so do you think actually watching it kind of helps you to process it even more, or?
Yeah, I think watching the shark attack gave me a picture of actually what happened, because when I got attacked by the sharks, it seemed like everything was in slow motion. But then looking at the attack on the video was so quick. It happened just like that. And we watched it over and over and over. And my one friend was duck diving and going underneath the same wave while I was being attacked. So he saw the shark swim from his right side through the wave, attack me and pull me under. And just to understand what he's thinking and feeling while he's going underneath the wave and while I'm getting attacked, I don't know, it was just quite cool to see it and try to put the whole story together. And yeah, it was actually a really cool thing to see myself get attacked by a shark. It was amazing.
And as far as like we're aware, it's the only recorded double white shark attack, isn't it? As in caught on camera.
Yes, yeah. So it is the only double shark attack ever recorded on camera. Apparently there are or have been other shark attacks recorded, but not on video.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, I've never even heard of I've never heard of another double shark attack. I'm sure there have been, but I haven't heard of them. Have you heard of a double shark attack before?
Well, yes, only from other people. Like I've made one or two posts of my shark attack saying the only double shark attack recorded, and then other people comment, no, it's not. People have been attacked by two sharks, but I've never seen or read an article. But I think they mean that it has happened, but maybe not on video.
Yeah, so it feels like they were competing who could get to you first.
Tag team shark attack.
Tag team. What were your thoughts and feelings about getting back in the water, and when did you actually get back in the water again after your incident?
Yeah, so after my attack, the first, I'd say 2 to 3 days, I was convinced I would never surf again. I was like, that's it, I'm done. I'm not going to surf. It's too scary and too dangerous. And then after that, I started thinking about it again. And just like I had that moment in the hospital bed, thinking about my life and thinking of how fortunate I am to be alive, I was thinking of that quite a lot. I was like, okay, cool. Maybe I should just surf. Maybe I should face my fears again, jump back into the water and surf, but not surf the same place. So then, 3 or 4 days later, I changed my mind and I said to my dad and my brother and everyone, okay, guys, I'm going to surf. And then 6 weeks later, I got my cast taken off my hand and I jumped into the water and I surfed. But I surfed a place called Yellow Sands, which is about 30 minutes away from, like a 30-minute drive away from where I had previously been attacked. And I surfed for around half an hour with my friends, my brother, and my dad was at the beach, my sister was there. It was a nice day with good waves. And it was a good day just to jump back into the water, catch a few waves and get out quickly before another shark came out to me. So yeah, it took me 6 weeks to jump back into the water and maybe about a year to jump back in at Nahoon Reef again. And same thing, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna face that fear, get back into the water, have a quick short surf, get a few waves and then get out the water.
So how did you feel when you got back in the water the first time? Was it, obviously you're in a different place, so were you not as worried about getting in there? Or can you remember what your feelings were that first time?
I was not so scared to surf the first time after my attack. it just felt super weird. I don't know what it was, but we also had Ripley's, believe it or not, there trying to record and document my first surf after my attack. And I was 15 years old, and here is this big film crew filming me, interviewing me, people in the water with cameras, people on a boat in the water with cameras, people on the beach, people on the rocks following me. And I was nervous. I was scared and nervous of the cameras more than anything else. And then yeah, a lot of people just watching as well. And my friends were there, my family was there, strangers were watching. So I just felt all this pressure from, I'd say, the cameramen, the interviews, people watching. And so I think that actually helped take away the fear of jumping into the water again. And then when I jumped in again, like I just made it quick. I just caught a few waves and then I got out the water. So I don't think I had time to be scared of sharks. And also, I haven't been scared of sharks since my attack. It's amazing. I feel like I've been given courage to face those fears and to overcome them. I'm not saying I'm not ever afraid, but like you would assume I'd be way more afraid and scared of sharks after my attack than before, but it's not the case.
And then how did you feel when you got back in at Nahoon Bay?
You know, the first time surfing Nahoon Reef after my attack was kind of the same. I wasn't scared. I was a bit nervous in a way, and I had these thoughts in my mind thinking, what are you doing, Shannon? You shouldn't surf here. This is when you, like the last time you surfed here, you almost died. You shouldn't be going. So I just had like more doubts than fears. And I did the same thing. I just jumped in, caught a few waves and escaped quickly. And it felt like a victory just to face the fear and get back into the water where I had previously been attacked, and to catch a few waves and to get back to land alive in one piece after catching a few waves. I just felt like I won, and I was super happy after that.
And last time I spoke to you, you told me you had another shark encounter after that.
Yeah, I've had several shark encounters and marine encounters, but I'll just tell you two. 2 years after my shark attack, I was surfing Nahoon Corner. So like I said to you, you have the Nahoon beach break. It's a sand bottom beach. Then on the southern side, you get the corner, which is like where the rocks and the reef starts. And then it keeps on extending as a point or headland to the reef. But so we were surfing the corner, and that's about 500 to 700 meters away from Nahoon Reef. And I was there with one friend. There was a lot of rain recently, and the rivers wash out, making the sea very dirty and brown. So you can't really see. The visibility is very poor. And I'm sitting on my surfboard, and while sitting, talking to my friend, waiting for a wave, a shark comes from behind and bumps me off my surfboard into the sky. My board shoots out one way, I fly the other way. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on? And I quickly get onto my surfboard. The shark quickly swims away, and I look at my friend, he's looking at me, and we just like start panicking. We're like, whoa, what's happening? It's happening all over again. And I couldn't see what kind of shark it was and couldn't see where it disappeared to. And myself and my friend just like lay on our bellies with our hands and feet out the water, trying to not get our hands and feet bitten off. And yeah, fortunately, we just started laughing in the moment, like looked at each other, started laughing. A wave came, we caught the wave, and we managed to get to the beach safely. That was so crazy, you know. And then a year after that encounter, I was surfing a place called The Point in Jeffreys Bay, which is a little further down south in South Africa. And that's got some of the best waves in the world, that area. And there are quite a few surf contests there. So we were warming up early in the morning before a surf contest was about to start. And I had just caught a wave, and I was paddling back to go get another wave. And as I paddled past this one guy, I sat down and then heard this commotion behind me. And everyone's screaming, shark, shark. And I quickly turn around, look over my left shoulder, and there is this great white shark just attacking this person and thrashing from side to side. And I'm like, no way, it's happening all over again. And I'm so close to the shark, it's just behind me. And everyone starts paddling towards the beach to escape myself included, because I was so scared. I got such a fright. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? And I start paddling towards the tail of the shark to get around it and then escape to go to the beach. And as I get to the tail of the shark, this surfer pops up alive next to the shark in one piece. And I'm like, wow, this guy's alive. And the shark's still thrashing from side to side. And I'm like, okay, I need to go help this guy, because I know exactly what it's like to be left in the water all alone after a shark attack. And I was so scared. I'm like, God, please help me. And I go back, paddle towards him, try to give him my surfboard. And I'm like, hey, jump on, I'll push you into the beach. And he's like, no, it's fine, I'll just hold on. And I said to him, no, jump on, I'll push you in. And he said, no, I'll hold on. And I'm like, no, jump on. He's like, no, I'll hold on. And while we're having this conversation, the shark's still thrashing him and bumping him from the back. And like, he's talking to me like this, getting bumped by the shark. And anyway, he held onto the board and we paddled together. While we started paddling together to the beach, the shark disappears underwater and his surfboard pops up his surfboard pops up in 3 pieces, broken. And I'm like, oh, the shark's disappeared underwater. Is it gonna come back for him? Is it gonna come for me? Or is it going to disappear? So I'm like thinking about all these scenarios and I'm like, oh, please don't let it happen. And we were busy paddling towards the beach, and fortunately we escaped. We got to the beach safely and he was fine. The shark never bit him at all. The shark bumped him off the surfboard first. He fell off and then the shark grabbed his surfboard, bit and thrashed his surfboard from side to side. So that was quite scary, almost more scary than my own shark attack in a way, because I was way more aware of what was going on. And I made a choice to either, I had a choice to either save myself or to risk my own life to help another person. And I chose the latter. And that was a very scary decision. It's like when in the moment I thought, oh, why am I trying to be a hero? Like just get to the beach and save my own life. But I'm so glad I did, because it could have been worse for him maybe if I hadn't. It was way faster for him to hang onto my board and paddle together, and also just to be there for moral support and to help him feel safer.
Yeah. Wow. Are you still surfing?
I surf every day, or I tried to surf every day. After the attack, I definitely grew more passionate about surfing, and also I'd say to help people through surfing as well. And I was still in school at the time, so I had no idea what to do and how to do those things. Like, I had these desires and passions and dreams inside of me, but never knew what to do. So when I was 19, after school, or like I finished school when I was 18, but when I was 19, I moved to Jeffreys Bay, the place that I had that shark encounter where I rescued that guy. So I moved there and I joined a Surfers Bible School, which I was a part of for around 3 years. And during that time, I started giving free surf lessons to kids, both to fortunate and unfortunate, or should I say privileged and underprivileged kids. And it was really nice, just like giving free surf lessons. And then we would like have a weekly hangout at my house where these surfers would come and hang out and eat some chips and some biscuits and drink some juice and have some coffee, watch some surfing and talk about life. So I did that every week. And I got busier and busier, and eventually I needed to start making some money from something. And I was like, hey, let me just charge all these kids and their parents for the surf lessons that I'm giving. So I started a surf school and started charging for surf coaching as well. And that's how I became a surf coach. And a lot of my students came to me like between 1 to 3 times a week for coaching over like a 10-year period. And some of these kids eventually, when they grew up, they got really good at surfing, and they started winning national surf contests and international surf contests and competing for the South African team at the World Surfing Games. And long story short, one of them came second in the world in the under 16 division years ago. Another one won a world title in longboarding, and another one is currently on the World Surf Tour, where he is competing for a world title over a 12-month period with 34 other surfers. And then I've also coached a girl who used to come to my surf camps and stay with me for weekends, who came second in the first ever Olympics. So then I ended up getting all these amazing results with these kids, and it was amazing. But also, like, it wasn't just about the surfing, it was about helping them in life as well, because they would come to my house every week. We would talk about life and hang out, and it was really cool. And then I started coming to Norway and wanted to do the same thing in Norway, but it's such a different culture here, and the climate's so different that there are no kids who surf. There are maybe 8 in the whole country who surf under the age of 18. I still am a surf coach here. I'm a full-time surf coach in Norway, so we're trying to do some surf development here in Norway. I'm the national team coach for the junior team and the senior team, but I also do a lot of private coaching, online surf coaching with clients from around the world who send me videos, and I do video analysis and create training programs for them. And then I also run a lot of surf camps and surf retreats around the world. So I travel a lot, and I absolutely love what I do. And I also run surf coaching and judging programs for the International Surfing Association, where I accredit people to become surf instructors or coaches or judges, and it's super fun.
Very, very busy.
I am very busy.
And so tell me what it's like surfing in Norway compared to South Africa. Tell me what the difference is and what it feels like.
Surfing in Norway has been really fun in many ways. You know, the further north you go in Norway, especially above the Arctic Circle, the more exotic it gets, the more crazy the weather gets, the colder it gets too, but the waves are a lot better as well. So now I'm currently based in Stavanger, a bit further down south. The waves get good here, but very seldom. But the further north you go, like I said, the better it gets. So I've spent quite a lot of time up there, lived there for quite a while, and I've had some amazing waves. And the biggest difference is I don't have to think about sharks in Norway. There are no sharks that are going to come and attack me. The only thing you have to think about is the weather. The weather is brutal. The wind blows so much in this country, and I've even had my car blow over and roll onto another car, during a storm. So like, we get quite a few hurricanes in Norway, but I've had some of my best waves ever in Norway, above the Arctic, in freezing surf conditions. So yeah, the only thing is the weather, the cold water. Sometimes you're surfing and there's like snow all over the place, and I've had my hair freeze in my head, my gloves start freezing on my fingers. I've had the craziest brain freezes, like getting held underwater for a long time, and you come up and you had the craziest headache from a brain freeze. So those are the kind of things you have to think about and worry about. One other thing you have to think about are killer whales or orcas. We have quite a few of those in Norway, especially up north. And I've had an amazing encounter with 2 orcas. And it was during a surf contest where I was in the semi-final. I had just caught my first wave. I started paddling back, and while paddling back to catch another wave, I see this big dark thing from the corner of my eye, like coming straight towards me with a lot of speed. And while it's coming, I'm thinking, this cannot be a shark, I'm in Norway. And while I'm thinking that, he has this big killer whale like right underneath the nose of my board, and I quickly sat up on my surfboard and looked down at it, and it turned and looked at me, and I could see its white belly, and then it swam past me to my right. And while that was happening, the second one was coming towards me, and it slowed down, and then they both ended up swimming away. So that was amazing, because they were maybe around 5 meters long and beautiful, but it was scary. I don't think they would attack me in the wild, but it was scary. So yeah, those are the kind of things that we experience here in Norway.